Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in football. We're all about Georgia, Alabama. 680 Sandra Golden joins us and answers the question, do tickets for that game grow on trees? The Falcons, are they going to continue their win streak? Plus injuries, fantasy football, and Jeffrey the Edge Schechter picks Georgia, Bama, Falcons, Texas, and more.
Play to Win is being brought to you by Toyota, the Georgia Lottery, and John Foy and Associates. Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Fantasy Football League previews with Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Edge Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalage, and your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal. Today's SEC report is being brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Chuck, Nikki, Jeffrey, and I welcome you to Football's Play to Win. We're going to talk Georgia, Alabama, of course. And if you're wondering who Jeffrey's going to pick for the game, are we seeing an indication down here? That does not look like an elephant. That looks like UGA down there on the end, or at least a facsimile of UGA. Chuck and Nikki, a facsimile, exactly. And Jeffrey, let's get started with Georgia and Alabama. It's the game everybody's talking about. It's huge for both of these teams. And Chuck, I want to start with you. Right away, let's talk about how Georgia will be able to run the ball and thus throw it better against that vaunted Bama front seven.
Well, I think the first thing Alabama and Georgia have to face is the fact that Georgia's a running team and Alabama has to stop the run. That's where the rubber meets the road. This Georgia team is going to run right at Alabama. That showed weakness against Ole Miss. Simple as that. They got the best running back, arguably outside of Baton Rouge in college football, and Nick Chubb.
And don't go to bed on Sony Michel either, who's probably going to catch some passes out there. Now I want to talk about the quarterbacks a little bit. We've got two transfers. From Florida State, Alabama has Coker, and from Virginia, Georgia has Grayson Lambert. Nikki, break it down for those two quarterbacks.
Well, from a quarterback standpoint alone, the playing field couldn't be more uneven. Jake Coker, statistically, one of the worst quarterbacks in the SEC. He's very inaccurate in his passes. He's only completed 50% of his last 76, and he's thrown 5 interceptions on the season. Now we look at Grayson Lambert. It's a whole different story. He's ranked second nationally in completion percentages, and he's completed 33 of his last 35 and thrown 0 interceptions. So the eye in the sky does not lie.
So you're saying Grayson has the edge there.
He's got a little bit more of an edge.
Right, and Coker, of course, is going to be on hand at Sanford Stadium.
He was getting booed, Bob. He was getting booed in that Ole Miss Alabama game. I was there to see it.
Yeah, it could be a tough go there with the quarterbacks. Now, let's talk about, we talked about Nick Chubb and Sony Michel and even Keith Marshall if he plays for Georgia. But how about Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, and the Bama run game?
Well, the Bama run game, that's who they are now. Bama has to run the ball to have an opportunity to beat Georgia. They're going to have to run directly in the middle because, remember, this Alabama offense is inept throwing the ball. Simple as that. If Bama's going to have a chance, they're going to have to run inside the tackles at Georgia because they won't run outside with Lorenzo Carter and some of that great linebacker core. And
by the way, a freshman at Alabama who was suspended the first 4 games named Bo Scarborough may play in this game. He is 6'2", 240, and runs a 4.5 40. Nick Saban's hinting that Scarborough may somehow show up on offense in that ball game. All right, let's talk now about the slate of games in the SEC. South Carolina's at Missouri. The quarterbacks both going to be freshmen there, both good. Lorenzo, of course, is good for South Carolina, and Missouri has a quarterback starting because Matty Mock has been suspended. Exactly. Alabama, Georgia, we talked about that and going to talk about it more in a minute. San Jose State at Auburn. Maybe Auburn gets a win there. We can't count on it, though. Mississippi, Ole Miss at Florida. That's a big one we'll talk about in a moment. And Eastern Michigan plays at LSU. Just a tune-up game for LSU. Arkansas, Tennessee, Chuck, that's a big one. The loser there is in big trouble. You know, Mid-Tennessee is favored over Vanderbilt in that game.
It's amazing.
Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Eastern Kentucky at Kentucky. Kentucky should have no problems with that. Now it's time for our college football showdown, brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. And our showdown of the week is Notre Dame and Clemson. Notre Dame and Clemson, and the difference maker in that game, Chuck, will be
Deshaun Watson. I mean, to me, he's the most electrifying prospect in America when it comes to college quarterbacks. He can throw, he can run, he's tough. He's shown every leadership quality in the game. Remember, he's carried that weight of being the number one quarterback from high school to college, and I just think he's special. He makes plays that take care of Notre Dame.
All right, it is time to get the pick, the first one of the day. Here it is, Jeffrey.
Hope it's better than last week. I think this is Clemson's year. Give Notre Dame all the credit in the world. Kelly's done a great job. I see Clemson winning this game. Go Clemson at Pick'em.
Okay, and by the way, Clemson hasn't played since the 15th. They've been off 15 days. Excuse me, they haven't played. They've been preparing for this game at Clemson. And your guy, Deshaun Watson, it could be a Clemson win.
You give Dabo Swinney that much time, he's going to make a difference. I like the Clemson coach.
He's a human emoji. I just like to see his
I like it, a
reaction.
human emoji, as is Nikki Williams. We'll be back in just a moment on Football's Play to Win. Stay with us because we're going to talk hometown team report, Jackets, North Carolina, along with the Bulldogs in Alabama.
We took America's best-selling car and turned everything up a notch. The Toyota Camry. What bold moves will you make? Get a low 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2016 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, baby, did you pick up a Harley-Davidson scratcher for me?
Yeah, it's in my purse. No. Didn't stop for gas today. I'll get it tomorrow.
How'd you get the chandelier down so fast?
I thought you got it.
You can't win if you don't play. Play the Harley-Davidson Scratcher and win up to $250,000 or a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
You're going to deny everything, and if you're lying through...
When you're hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company will try anything to deny your claim.
Deny, deny, deny. Whatever it takes, we're not paying a dime.
They'll stop at nothing until they run into the strong arm.
Don't let the insurance company decide what you deserve. Call me now. I'll fight so you don't have to.
Get the upper hand. Get the strong arm. Call attorney John Foy and Associates today.
The time has come to meet the new face of Kilo, Stefan and Kimchi.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Oh, so confident. Well, the only danger angle is this vaporizer beam.
Goodbye, James.
Nice work, Kevin.
Kevin, what do you think?
Live out your dreams. Win up to $100,000 300 times a day playing Keno.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
Hometown Team Report. Yes, we are still talking about Georgia and Alabama. It's been on the minds of everybody in at least 2 states and around the country. 13th ranked Alabama, number 8 Georgia. Now, 680 Sandra the Golden, I like that, is joining us from 680 and with her 68 seconds from 680 to talk about this very game. I asked Sandra for tickets. Everybody wants a ticket to the Georgia-Alabama game, and I said to Sandra, don't these tickets grow on trees?
Hello there, Bob Neal. Guess what I brought? The plant. You know, my friends and family, they all found about the plant that grows in your backyard that grows tickets. You know, the free tickets you can just go get. But I just, for proof, I wanted to show everybody that the tree is bare. There are no Bama Georgia tickets. There are no Clemson Notre Dame tickets. There are no Florida State Georgia Tech tickets. I don't know why everybody thinks we get free tickets to everything. We don't. I know y'all get that too. How big is this game, Georgia and Alabama? Who does it mean more to? Which program needs the win more? Mark Schleybaugh, I love his article he does every weekend about the elimination and who's eliminated already. So I asked him this morning, he was on the front row on 680 The Fan, about if Alabama loses to Georgia with already 1 loss, so 2 losses, is Alabama going to make the list? Will they be eliminated? He said no. He said that SEC West especially can probably get away with 2 losses, still win the SEC, and make it to the college football playoff. I was really amazed by that. Jeremy Pruitt factor for Georgia here. Keep in mind he was really brought into the Bulldog Nation because he wants to win. He needs to win big games like this. All right, guys, back to you. The play to win set. Miss you guys.
Yeah, and miss you too, Sandra. Yeah, no kidding. Want to join in? Miss you too, Sandra.
That's right.
680. She's on the front row.
That was great.
Right,
She did
she's
a
on the
great
front
job.
row. She is.
Great job.
Front row with Snake Shapiro, Brian Finneran, and me on Fridays. By the way, Jeffrey, it's now time for the big pick of the week: Georgia or Alabama.
I don't think the Kiffin-Saban marriage is really working. Alabama's not supposed to throw the ball 40 times in a game. That's for the Mountain West. I like the Dogs this week. I think they're going to put it to them. I think Lambert's going to throw the ball. Alabama's pass defense is nothing great. We're going to go with the Dogs.
Woof, woof, woof. There you go. Georgia -2, Sanford Stadium. It's at 3:30. Now it's time to talk about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, who have been surprisingly error-prone on offense. North Carolina comes into play Georgia Tech, and the key for me will be the upgraded play of the Georgia Tech offense, and that starts with Justin Thomas.
And you're right, Bob. Justin Thomas, he struggled late, but why? Because they've had to play from behind. He's had to throw the ball a lot more. Justin Thomas, he's not a thrower. He's a runner. Run the ball, but when Georgia Tech's forced to have to throw, that's when they get in trouble.
All right, and Nikki, Marquise Williams, the quarterback for North Carolina, or is he?
Well, Larry Fedora, head coach of UNC, is shutting these rumors down. Marquise Williams' job is not in jeopardy, even though it looked like it. I mean, you can't blame us for wondering. They took him out of the game last week against Delaware right before the half. Some dismal bad numbers he was putting up. Put the backup in, Mitch Trubisky.
Right.
He stole the show, whatever his last name is, remember it, because he came in and helped them get a victory 41-14 over Delaware. But they're still going to start Marquise Williams.
All right, and now it's time for the pick. Tech gets a win this week at Grant Field.
I said it before, Tech is not as good as last year, and you watch them play, they're not. They may win, but I don't think they're going to win by 7. Take the Tar Heels.
All right, plus the 7.
Plus the 7.
All right, that is it. Jeffrey's picks. He's got picks all throughout. By the way, NFL picks coming up, more college from Jeffrey as we continue with football's play to win.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
American owned, family operated. Since 1829. No bull. Just lager. From America's oldest brewery, Yingling.
There's nothing like spending a quiet afternoon with your pals. Organize an adult-appropriate activity, like a stroll through a museum. Always remain civil and mild-mannered, and never draw undue attention to yourself.
Today's Fantasy Report is being brought to you by SD Services. Home comfort or plumbing issues? We can fix that.
Fantasy football, who's hot and who's cold. Great to see you again, Adam Brown.
See you, Bob.
How are you ready to go?
Let's do this.
Let's do quarterbacks.
Let's do quarterbacks and Tyrod Taylor to start with. He has the 5th most fantasy points in the NFL through 3 weeks. And let's look at Derek Carr, who has back-to-back 300-yard games and 5 TDs last 2 games. He's going to have another 300-yard game this week.
All right, how about running backs?
I love running backs that have the ability to catch the ball in the backfield, and Danny Woodhead is that man. He's going to have a big week against Cleveland this week. He has 12 receptions this season, and Cleveland is giving a ton of fantasy points to opposing running backs.
All right, and when we talk about wide receivers, the first name that comes up, rightfully so, is Julio Jones.
Right.
But in that same category is Odell Beckham Jr.
Odell Beckham Jr. is a model of consistency as well. He has 7 catches the last 2 weeks and touchdowns each of those 2 weeks. And Buffalo is giving up 19 receptions to opposing running backs, or receivers, per week.
All right, now it's time for the weekly 10. I like these, the mid and low level value starts.
Right, so like in your weekly fantasy leagues, you have to go with the high level guys and the low level guys to make your numbers work. And I want to look at Thomas Rawls, who's a very inexpensive pick this week, had over 100 yards last week, is the backup to Marshawn Lynch. And if Lynch doesn't play, he's the man. And also let's look at Dante Moncrief, who has 3 games played this year, 3 touchdowns in all the games, as a touchdown in each of the games, and 17 receptions so far this year.
All right, great job again.
Thanks, man. Good luck, everyone.
All right, and now I want to tell you how you can also be a winner. It's called Play to Win, and that is on our Red Pepper Taqueria You Be the Expert Challenge. First contest was last week. Go to playingtowin.tv to register and participate. And our winners for the first week, Alex Tidwell wins a $100 gift certificate, and in second place, Andrew Norton gets a $50 gift certificate, and that is the Red Pepper Taqueria, You Be the Expert. Stay with us on Football's Play to Win.
Is your house uncomfortable? We can fix that. Get the Estes Whole House Comfort Checkup and eliminate hot and cold spots in your home. If you save energy, you save money. Go to EstesAir.com and book your appointment today. Estes Services, your man for all seasons since 1949.
Don't pay more for a new vehicle. At Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we're dealing, and you're going to save big money. Take $8,000 off MSRP during Truck Month on a Ram 1500. Get a Jeep Grand Cherokee for only $27,999. And a Chrysler 200 is now just $16,945. That's $8,000 off MSRP. Don't miss these deals now at Mall of Georgia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and online at yourdodge.com.
We've owned a few different houses through the years. Your company was absolutely the best. They were so professional. Everything they didn't get a mark on a wall or anything else. It was clean, it was friendly, and it was fun. And most of the time, moving is not fun. I'm going to give a great recommendation to Atlanta Peach Movers. It's always on time and it's always professional. There is no tree in Atlanta Peach Movers.
To schedule your move, call Atlanta Peach Movers today.
Bad pipes, clogs, broken water heater? We can fix that. ST's Plumbing Services, your man for all seasons since 1949, will make your plumbing problems disappear. From pesky pipes to new water heaters, we can fix that.
Today's NFL Report is being brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
In the NFL, the Houston Texans come in to play the Atlanta Falcons at the Dome tomorrow. And one of the things about the Atlanta Falcons this year is Dan Quinn has upgraded that defense. They're playing, running to the ball, playing at a high intensity level, and of course, Julio Jones. And Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, is finding even more ways to Julio. Julio says, yes, I'm doing well, but I think I can get even better. You see some of his numbers. He is clearly the best receiver in the NFL. And Nikki, my question about Julio Jones is, how does he get better than that?
None of these other teams want to see him get any better, Bob. I can promise you that. But he is, bar none, the best receiver in the NFL. With that comes a little bit of negative Nancy from me, though. It's the inevitable. He's going to be a target every single game. There's a price on his head. Can we keep him healthy and unscathed and get him through the season? That for me is the biggest question.
It is a big question. He's big, he's strong, he's in great shape, but he's going to be catching a lot of balls. And Kyle Shanahan is using him as in those inside slants. He's playing almost a little tight endish sometimes, as well as deep, so he's taking a lot of hits. My question is, how will the Texans stop the Falcons?
Well, number one, you take Julio away. The first thing you got to do is take away their best option, let the other players beat them. One of the challenges with the Falcons now, Julio has 34 catches, the other guys have few. So when you start targeting one guy, the offense sometimes can get stagnant and stale. They're going to have to spread the ball around because it can't be the Julio Jones show every week, or he will eventually get hurt when he's catching the ball with so many, and it will affect the Falcons' entire offense down the line if they don't spread it out.
I think Devontae Freeman's going to get
another.
I think he's going to get another 100 yards.
Love him.
Houston's allowing 108 yards a game. They're 19th in the NFL in rushing yards allowed. But we talk about Ryan and Julio. How about Mallett and Hopkins for Houston.
Storms of brewing there. That's looking like another duo similar of Julio and Matt, unfortunately. But these guys are just getting started, starting to feed off of each other. Mallett threw 26 passes Hopkins' way in the last 2 games. So while they're getting into a rhythm, there's some whispers in Houston that Arian might be back this week.
Arian Foster.
You know, they're just getting started, but this might shut him down if they throw him back in there.
All right, maybe. Alfred Blue's been playing well.
They're jitterbug combo. They're not ready.
They're
not Julio and Matt. They're just a jitterbug combo. The Falcons should handle those guys.
Falcons defense handling them. How will they handle them?
Well, the Falcons defense, the best thing the Falcons did was go from a 3-4 to a 4-3 in the transition from Mike Smith to Dan Quinton. Right now, they're able to generate pass rush. They're able to get after quarterbacks and affect quarterbacks. They're able to compete against the run. I just think it's a totally great fit for them, and they're going to have a chance to compete against anyone as long as they're in that base 4-3.
All right, let's find out who's going to win the game from Jeffrey the Ed Schechter.
Atlanta's 3-0. They're improved, and now they're a 6.5-point favorite. It's too many points. Take Houston in the points.
Oh, so you're taking Houston with 6.5?
What?
Jeffrey, of course, you are the edge. I listen when he talks. I listen.
They're not elite yet. That's a lot of points.
You know what I think? I think the Falcons are going to win that game. I think they're going to win that game. They're going to win the next week game against Washington, and I think the Falcons could run all the way through November undefeated. They'll be favored in all of these games.
That'd be what? 8-0?
Yes.
8-9-0. What is that?
Exactly. That'd be 8-0. So it could happen. Falcons on a roll. Jeffrey says, though, take the points and the Texans. And I say we'll be right back with football's play to win right after this. More Jeffrey picks.
Hey, baby, did you pick up a Harley-Davidson scratcher for me?
Yeah, it's in my purse. No. Didn't stop for gas today. I'll get it tomorrow.
How'd you get the chandelier down so fast?
I thought you got it.
You can't win if you don't play. Play the Harley-Davidson Scratcher and win up to $250,000 or a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's right.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Ah, the time has come to meet the new face of Kilo, Stefan and Kimchi.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Oh, so confident. Well, the only danger angle is this vaporizer beam.
Goodbye, James.
Nice work, Kevin.
Kevin, what do you think?
Live out your dreams. Win up to $100,000 300 times a day playing Keno.
First time that I saw you here, I look up, but you disappeared. Oh, I never did forget the look of you. Oh, the second time.
Any dog will chase a car. But with a range of 535 miles on one tank, only a crazy dog will chase a Prius. Get a low 0% APR for 72 months on a new 2015 Toyota Prius. Toyota, let's go places.
Today's Player Medical and Injury Report is being brought to you by John Foy & Associates. Personal injury law. Get the strong arm.
All right, time for our Player Medical Report and NFL injury list. Here is the list of official injuries and the status of a bunch of players. And you see there's some key stuff on the quarterbacks going down to Ben Roethlisberger with his knee, who is out, of course, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now let's talk about the Player Medical Report. Dr. Andrew Lalagi not with us this week, but I have the Player Medical Report right here. Let's get started with Ben Roethlisberger. He is downgraded to a B-. Will miss at least 4 weeks, could be 6 weeks. If he goes through 6 weeks, he would miss that big game against the Bengals. Reason there, bone bruise makes it tricky. Marshawn Lynch, 50-50, they say, Monday night versus Detroit. Calf injury week 2, tweaked that hamstring, has a history of back problems. He is down to a B grade. DeMarco Murray goes all the way back to 2008 with hamstring issues when he was with the Cowboys. Practiced midweek, but his status is unclear. He's a B- this week. Let's go to our next one. This is Chris Ivory, our first F. Chris Ivory, huge red flags around him. He's been limited in practice, multiple season-ending injuries requiring surgery, multiple concussions. Stay away from playing him. Devontae Adams. Devontae is downgraded from an A+ to a B. Walking boot on the left ankle. Re-injured that sprained ankle that he injured first in week 2. Unclear for Sunday versus the 49ers. Sammy Watkins, Coach Rex Ryan said he probably won't play due to his calf sprain, down to a C. And Ladarius Green from a B+ to a B, out with concussion last weekend. That's his second concussion in 11 days. Full downgrade to a B, still in the protocol for concussions. Next, lightning round. Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, college and pro picks against the spread go nowhere.
If you've been injured, if you or a loved one have been a victim, if you've suffered, get the upper hand. Get the strong arm.
Protect your rights and get the lawyer who fights.
No electricity? We can fix that. From replacing a light switch to installing an emergency generator. SD's Electrical Services, your man for all seen since 1949, will turn the lights on. Don't stay in the dark. We can fix that.
Is your heating system blowing cold air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and ST Services. We've been installing and repairing heating and air systems in Atlanta for 66 years. Need to get warm? We can fix that.
It's time for the lightning round. That means more Jeffrey picks, particularly games he likes to look at. And let's start with college football in Minnesota Northwestern.
This is the underdog bowl. Anytime these teams play, the underdog covers. I like Minnesota with the points. Oklahoma is a 7-point favorite over West Virginia. I think West Virginia's a good team. I think they're going to cover the 7. Florida is scrappy. They hang around. They won 2 very, very tough games. I think they're going to give Mississippi a game.
You think Ole Miss will win outright, though? What do you think?
You never can tell.
Not sure. No,
that's a scrappy team.
He's the edge. I listen to what he says. NFL, Philadelphia and Washington, Jeffrey.
Washington's the most consistent team of football. This is their 4th game. They've been a 3-point underdog every game. I don't think Philly's that good, but they're good enough to cover the 3 against Washington. I'm disappointed in Kansas City this year. Cincinnati's playing good ball. I'm going to stick with my Super Bowl team. Take Kansas City plus the 4. Detroit's a disaster. You know what they're saying in Detroit right now? Thank God for the Bears. That's the only team they could probably beat. Give them 9.5 with Seattle.
All right, Jeffrey Edge, and those are the good ones. That means like a 10-point win, by the way. You can get all of his picks and a lot more, plus our whole show on playingtowin.tv. For Jeffrey, Nikki, Chuck, I am Bob. We will see you next week on Play to Win.
Play to Win has been brought to you by the Southeastern Nissan Dealers, Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, and ST Services,